Hello everyone, this is Sahan here with another video. I hope all of you are doing well regardless of the day, month, or even the year. Today I'm going to talk about Mikhail Lermontov's A Hero of Our Time. If you're unfamiliar with the writer Lermontov, I must say that he was only the greatest Russian poet, best known for his romanticism, and this book that I'm going to review today is his only novel ever written by him. And without further ado, let's get into the review itself. The thing that struck me as most weird when I was reading the book was the narration, because the narrator of the book, who is also a traveler, is traveling from point A to point B, and somewhere in the way, he gets acquainted with this character named Maxim Maximich. Now, this Maxim Maximich is the actual person who knew Pechorin personally. The narrator does not know Pechorin and comes to know him through only through Maxim Maximich. And that's how the narrator gets his hands on Pechorin's diaries. Just because Pechorin did not want the diaries for himself because his life was not significant to him and he regretted his decisions, or maybe he did not regret it. His decisions were not significant to him for reasons that I'm going to get to in a second. The story itself is relayed to the reader in 5 different but linked episodes. The narration is going to jump back and forth in first person view between our traveler, which is the narrator, also the person who starts off the book, and Pechorin's diaries, because the diaries were written by Pechorin, therefore it is in first person view, told from perspective of Pechorin. Now, to tell you more about Pechorin, I must first say that while reading the book, you might be conflicted as to why Lermontov gave the title of a hero to the protagonist of the story, namely Pechorin, because you might be conflicted while reading the book with such a question yourself, since Pechorin is a very strange character from all the social circles, seemingly, as the book and the story suggests him to be. And especially because he is an exact replica of someone who internalizes the stories that others have about him. Namely, the opinions of others have been internalized by Pechorin throughout his lifetime, and that is true as he says it himself. I'm going to read you some of Pechorin's words as to what he thought of himself when he was a child, and what others thought of himself, and what eventually led him to become the person that he is right now. Someone that is strange, that is not fitting in any type or shape or form in the society, and therefore is deemed to be an outlaw as he is rightfully. Quote, "Yes, such has been my lot since early childhood. Everyone would read on my face evil signs that weren't even there. But they were assumed to be there, and so they were born in me. I was modest, and I was accused of craftiness. I started to be secretive. I had deep feelings of good and evil. No one caressed me. Everyone insulted me. I became rancorous. I was sullen. Other children were merry and chatty. I felt myself to be superior to them, and I was made inferior. I grew envious. I was prepared to love the whole world, and no one understood me, and I learned to hate. My colorless youth elapsed in a struggle with myself and the world." End of quote. From what I've read to you, you can easily see how others' opinions about what Pechorin's character was from early onset and from Pechorin's early days should clearly resonate with you as to how his decisions and his free will, not to mention, was influenced from the get-go of his life. Now, Pechorin might seem as 100% a character who lives and breathes to do bad and to do harm to others. And for the purposes of this video, since good and bad can have manifold and multiple meanings, good should be defined to you, the viewer of this video, as something that does not bring harm to others, and thus bad as something that does bring harm to others. Therefore, Pechorin is capable, in fact, of loving another human being, and he is not living to cause carnage, you know. And this will become clear to you in a point in the story where he grabs hold of a girl um, and he grows fond of her as time goes by. And with this girl character, as he grew more and more in love with her, he became more and more, therefore, dissociated from the bad and the evil self that he thought of himself to be only ever capable of being. He did not think of himself to be able to revert back to being good, to revert back to being fond of any other human being for that matter, because remember his interactions with his surrounding individuals were not one that encouraged him to become ever trustful again to any other human being. Now, Lermontov gave the title of a hero to Pechorin for a good reason here, because as you saw, the people who were in contact with Pechorin, and this was a flag that I just tried to show off, they tried to tell stories about what personality characteristics Pechorin had, namely as someone who was evil and bad. While this was not the truth, as Pechorin himself says it, he was a lively child, so there was no reason for others to believe that he was a bad person, but they did anyway, and they repeated this story over and over and over again to Pechorin, to the point that he internalized it and he believed in it, and he believed in himself as someone who was only ever capable of doing bad, and therefore he was his free will was taken away from him, and he always did what others expected him to do, namely he did things that were deemed as a taboo. He did things that were bad, namely thievery, being deceitful, and all the bad things that one can do, all the things that can bring harm to others. And therefore, Lermontov is trying to tell this side of the story, this other side of the story of outcasts of the world who are pushed away by the society, by this normalized and abnormalized definitions that is out there for everyone, for the society. So, but this book is only telling the side of the story of one protagonist, and that is to be Pechorin, and at least he includes others' influence in his story, so much so that they are relevant to the influence that they had on Pechorin, and how their influence changed Pechorin's path forever. And please read this book. If you like this video, good for you. You can leave a like down below, or thank you for watching, and I would wish you a great week or a great month until I post another thing, and I hope you enjoyed this review. Have a good day. Bye.